This is an Ariel Platinum steam shower by EAGO that's I've had for 5 or 6 years now. I think I installed it in 2011, so it'll be 5 years now. And recently I've had an issue where I have been unable to turn on the steam. I would push the button, I get a click, and then after about a minute or so an error code, I can't remember if it's ER3 or E3 would show on the display, and the steam unit would be deactivated. So what I decided to do is I decided I'm going to investigate and see if I can figure out what the issue was. So I started by removing the whole center panel. There's the 4 screws and the silicone that join the 2 panels together, so that was a bit of a pain, but I got it all apart. And then once it was apart, I kind of went on inside and I started taking a look inside. So we get my light in a better place. And so when you look at this whole unit, when you look at this unit, the steam unit is right at the very bottom. You see a couple of hoses. This hose goes to the aromatherapy. This bigger hose actually goes to the steam outlet vent. And then there's this other hose that I have disconnected right now. And it went to a little relay, or I went to a little relay here, which is kind of your water valve. So when you push the steam unit, you can hear this thing click, and then water would actually come out of here, and then the hose that I have disconnected actually connects right onto the bottom of that. So what I did is I've been doing some playing, and the first thing that I did was I turned off my water. Then I disconnected the hose where it attaches to this valve, put a little bucket under there, turned the water back on, had my wife hold the bucket while I went and turned the water back on, and no water came out. Then I went and I turned on the power for the actual shower unit, clicked the steam function, and sure enough, water came out of here. So I knew that it was not this little water valve. So that led me to believe that it actually had to be between the water valve and maybe the steam generator itself. So the next thing that I did is there's a little brass fitting that fits right on the end of this hose, which I've disconnected. So here's the little brass fitting. The brass fitting would thread onto this. This hose would actually fit right onto that. So what I did is I pulled that hose off, and when I looked down the brass fitting, the little hole that you can see through right now, I could not see through. And that's because it was all calciumed up or limed all up. I suspect that is the reason why my unit was not getting any water. So what I've done is I've cleaned that out. I'm going to put it back together, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that that was the issue to my error code. Okay, I've reconnected the hose. The one that goes to the steam generator, the supply line. All the wires are connected. I've turned the water back on. There we go, here's better light. So I reconnected that to the steam generator. I've turned the water back on, the power's back on. So now I'm going to see if the thing will generate steam. And hey, that's a good sound. That's what I wanted to hear. So that's telling me that it's actually letting water into the steam generator, which is what it didn't do before. Before it would just, I'd hear a click, no water would flow, and after a minute I'd get that error code. So that's the answer. So my issue was I was not getting water into the steam generator, and that's because there's a little clog in the one fitting that attached to the valve that released the water in. So that was my solution. Didn't cost me anything but time. So now I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to verify, make sure there's no leaks, clean up the silicone that I need to clean up, and then afterwards I'm good to go. I can start steam showering again. Have a good day.